Captain Zixithera had witnessed many things in her 3 decades of commanding deep space cargo vessels. She had seen the crystalline storms of Vega Prime, navigated the gravity wells of dying stars, and even survived a void Kraken attack near the Horsehead Nebula. But she had never seen anything quite like the human sitting calmly in her ship's medical bay. The human, Marcus Chen, according to his identification, sat upright on the examination table, his legs dangling over the edge, like a child's. What disturbed Zixithera wasn't his casual demeanor, but rather the fact that her ship's medical scanner couldn't seem to process his biology properly. Every few seconds, warning lights would flash as the scanner attempted to catalog what it insisted were critical system failures throughout his body. "Your scanner appears to be malfunctioning," Dr. Velteran, her Zenthari medical officer, chittered nervously. His 4 arms moved in agitated patterns as he studied the readouts. "It claims this creature has a heart that operates under extreme pressure, lungs that process a corrosive gas mixture, and bones dense enough to be considered armor plating." Marcus smiled, a predatory expression that revealed flat grinding teeth and sharp canines. "Nah, Doc. Your scanner's working fine. I'm just human." The word sent a ripple of unease through the medical bay. Everyone in known space had heard whispers of the Deathworlders from Sol 3, the impossible beings who had emerged from a planet so hostile that it defied galactic classification standards. Most species dismiss such tales as spacer legends, stories told to frighten younglings. "Impossible," Dr. Velteran insisted. "No sentient species could evolve under the conditions your planet allegedly possesses. Gravity nearly 10 times standard, atmospheric composition that would dissolve most metals, temperature fluctuations that would shatter molecular bonds." 21% oxygen, Marcus interrupted, still smiling. "That's what really gets everyone worked up. Most folks in the galaxy breathe stuff that's barely flammable. We evolved breathing rocket fuel." As if summoned by his words, the ship's proximity alarms began screaming. Zixithera's secondary hearts skipped as she recognized the signature on her tactical display. 3 ships unmarked but bearing the distinctive energy patterns of Kethmoran raiders, the most feared pirates in this sector of space. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "they're demanding we prepare for boarding. They're asking specifically about any Deathworlder cargo." The medical bay fell silent except for the steady hum of life support systems. Zixithera felt her gills flutter with anxiety. The Kethmoran were apex predators from a world of endless night and perpetual warfare. They had never been successfully resisted, never been defeated in boarding actions. Their warriors stood 8 feet tall, possessed natural armor plating, and wielded claws capable of rending hull metal. "Well," Marcus said, hopping down from the examination table, "I guess they heard about me." "You cannot possibly face them," Zixithera protested. "I have 17 crew members to consider. Perhaps if we cooperate—" "Captain." Marcus's voice carried a strange quality now, something that made her instinctively step back. "With respect, you've never seen what humans are capable of when we're properly motivated." The smile had left his face, replaced by an expression Zixithera couldn't interpret. His posture had shifted subtly, and she found herself thinking of persistence hunters, of creatures that tracked their prey across impossible distances through sheer determination. "Dr. Velteran," Marcus said quietly, "I'm going to need you to clear everyone from corridors 7 through 12, and maybe seal the bulkheads." "Why would we?" the doctor began. "Because," Marcus said, moving toward the medical bay's equipment. "Lockers. I'm about to show you why my people are the only species that hunts for sport." 20 minutes later, the boarding had begun. The Kethmoran cut through the hull with typical efficiency, their warriors flowing through the breach like liquid death. Zixithera monitored their progress from the bridge, watching helplessly as they advanced toward the ship's central corridors. Then the screaming started. Not the sounds of victims, those would have been brief and quickly silenced. These were different, primal, terrified sounds that Zixithera had never heard from Kethmoran throats. They were the sounds of predators, becoming prey. "What's happening down there?" she called to her security chief. Captain, I don't know. The Kethmaran entered Corridor 7, but now they're retreating. The ones that can." The communications array crackled to life. Through the static came a Kethmaran voice high with panic. "Retreat! Retreat from the Death Worlder vessel. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage the human." On the tactical display, Zixathera watched in amazement as the 3 raider ships broke formation and accelerated away at maximum burn, abandoning their boarding party entirely. An hour later, Marcus returned to the bridge. His clothes were torn and stained with various colors of alien blood, but he was whistling a human tune. In his hands he carried a collection of Kethmoran weapons and armor pieces. "Souvenirs," he explained cheerfully, setting them down. "Figured your security team might like to study them." "What did you do?" Zixathera whispered. Marcus's smile returned, that predatory, impossible expression. "I introduced them to a human concept, endurance hunting. See, most predator species are ambush hunters. Quick burst of speed, overwhelming force, victory or retreat, but humans, we're pursuit predators, we don't stop." He gestured toward the sealed corridors. "I hunted them through your ship for 40 minutes. Every time they thought they'd cornered me, I'd disappear into the ventilation system or access tunnels. Every time they tried to retreat, I'd be waiting. By the end, they weren't trying to capture anyone, they were just trying to get away from me." Dr. Veltaran stared at his scanner readings in disbelief. "Your stress indicators are normal. You're not even breathing hard." "That's the thing about Death Worlders," Marcus said, settling into a chair that creaked under his dense bone structure. "We evolved on a planet that's been trying to kill us for 3 million years. Everything else in the galaxy is just easier." Later, as her ship resumed course, Zixathera found herself thinking about the human's words. She had witnessed something unprecedented, a species so adapted to violence and survival that even the galaxy's most feared predators had fled in terror. But what disturbed her most wasn't Marcus's capabilities. It was how normal he seemed. How he could switch from casual conversation to lethal hunter and back again without apparent effort. How he could smile the same predatory smile whether discussing atmospheric composition or warfare. The galaxy had always wondered what made humans dangerous. Now Zixathera understood. They were dangerous because they didn't have to try to be. For them, violence wasn't an escalation. It was just another tool, as natural as breathing their corrosive atmosphere or walking under their crushing gravity. When the Death Worlders smiled, the predators fled in silence because they finally recognized something older and more patient than themselves. The quiet persistence of a species that had earned its place at the top of the food chain not through size or strength, but through the simple, terrifying refusal to ever give up. And Marcus Chen, still whistling his human tune, continued reading his book as if nothing remarkable had happened at all.